So I'm here to tell you, here's the big slide. AI is the ultimate increaser of productivity gains. AI can work smarter, harder, and cheaper than humans. I actually don't think I can follow that, and anything I say will be disappointing, so I think I just need to sit down. Thank you, everyone. That was great. Okay, so in the past, some of you have seen me talk, and I usually come up here and talk about myself for like 45 minutes, and that's pretty ridiculous because it's very self-indulgent. And I think, Stephen, what's the limit supposed to be? Like 20 minutes? I should start timing myself. Is that it? It's like 20. So I've gone way over. I've been a super jerk with these things. So today, instead of talking about myself, I'm actually going to try to teach y'all something, and I'm going to try to stay under 20 minutes. Yeah. But before I get to that, people always ask me the same thing, and Stephen alluded to this. I have an internet presence, but my wife has a much bigger one. So whenever I come to these things, people always come up to me and ask me this. Oh, not that. I think it only happened one time here because Mindy is actually here. And, but I'm not. She's right there, and I realize most of you probably know her better than me, so if you all want to get together with her and walk out and have your own talk, I'll be okay with it. I'm going to turn around. Okay. I might cry a little bit. I'm sensitive if you do that, but I don't really care that she gets all the attention. I know some men have a weird problem where they don't like their wife being more successful than them, but I'm totally okay with that. My talk is not about this, but if there's one tip I can give you all, if you're single, marry well. A lot of things will take care of themselves. And I was trying to think of what the other equivalent will be, because Wi-Fi, does anyone have any ideas? Like, I don't. Guy-Fi? Oh, that's a good one. Guy-Fi. It's so obvious too. Why did I come up with that? Yeah, we'll have a third one too human fire. I don't know. So today I'm going to tell you why artificial intelligence is going to make you all super rich, or maybe kill all of you. We'll be talking about economics, artificial intelligence, and how both those things are going to combine to make you rich, or again, maybe dead. Do we have any economists in the audience, or? Okay, I don't see any. This is good because I'm about to throw them under the table. This is what I think of when I think of economists. Does anyone recognize this clip?
1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effect of the Great Depression, passed the anyone?
Okay. If any of you look like that, remember I'm sensitive. I'll cry if you start to fall asleep or make those faces in my presentation. So one thing, I discovered this all phi thing back in 2013. I read everything I could, and one of the most profound things was J.L. Collins, because I had no idea what an index fund was. And he's like, you have to invest in index funds. I'm like, great, this makes perfect sense because it goes up and to the right over time. So I'm like, why does it go up and to the right? Has anyone else ever wondered about that, or is it just me? I guess it's just me, but now you get to hear whether you care for it or not. I Googled it and I couldn't find a good answer. I emailed JL. He's like, well, it's historical stuff, but I don't really know the answer to it either. And a couple years after that, a friend who is really good at investing actually gave me the answer. Some of you might even recognize him. Yeah. He doesn't actually, his body does not look like that. I think he used AI to do that too. He didn't actually tell me it personally, but we were at the Berkshire Hathaway conference, and he said this. He said, economic expansion, or VTSAX, goes up and to the right over time because of population growth and productivity gains. The latter is far more important. So I'm like, super cool. I have my answer. And I think Warren Buffett knows what he's talking about. So this is awesome. But then I had more questions. What the heck is productivity, and what are productivity gains? I don't know this. So I went on a quest to discover what this is. It turns out productivity is a measure of economic performance that compares goods and services produced with the amount of output. So you've got all kinds of raw materials and stuff, and then something comes out the other end. So here is a weird example. On the left, we have all of our inputs. We have workers here. We have raw materials. I think that's graphite for batteries. We have a factory. We have a robot. We have a casting machine that makes a chassis. And we have a somewhat unstable, crazy CEO because he greenlit this product. So again, productivity on the left are all the inputs. This is the output. The cheaper you can make this stuff, the more money you can make, or the cheaper you can sell that thing for. Does anyone have one of those? I didn't think so.
There's one in Colorado Springs, though.
Really?
In the nearby neighborhoods.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time I saw it, I thought, what is this?
Yeah, it is different. Let's talk about an example of productivity gains. In 1889, some guy named John Charter invented the tractor. Before that, we had to do all our farming with humans, ox, animals, or however else they did it. Then this tractor thing gets invented, and all of a sudden you could produce a lot more corn or whatever you're growing for a lot cheaper. In 1900, 40% of people lived or worked on farms. Now it is 2%. So goods become cheaper, less people are needed, and profits go up. The farmer gets paid.
That's what that picture was for?
Oh, so I should stop here for a second. So like a week ago, I'm like, hello, wife, could you please put on this cowboy hat and these overalls, put this thing in your mouth and hold this money? I'm just going to take some pictures of you. Yeah, there'll be a couple more in here. Are you are you okay with this? Or are there any divorce attorneys? Sure, you're a counselor, right? We might need to talk to you. But Farmer Mindy gets rich because she adopts a tractor. And this is why VTSAX goes up and to the right over time. New innovations happen like steam engines, assembly lines, microchips. People do things more efficiently and the whole pie gets bigger, which is great. That's how productivity increases. You have more product with less effort. Let's talk about artificial intelligence. Has anyone heard about this? It's been in the news just a little lately, right? I have a little demo to show you. I'll explain this.
Hey, what's going on? It's Doug here. I wanted to pop in before I roll the episode.
Yeah, that's Doug, who is also right there.
This is an interview with Brandon, the non-scientist.
And fast forward.
Hey, what's going on? Doug here.
Okay, you're supposed to be married.
Before I rolled the episode.
This will all make sense in a second, I swear.
This is an interview with Brandon,
Here we go.
Scientist. I was inspired to republish this episode. It is a republish. You might have heard it before, but it's from a while back. But the thing is, Brandon.
Okay, I might just skip this part.
A bunch of podcasts recently. He was on Bigger Pockets Money with Charlie Scott. He's over at CampFI. Brandon actually.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to do this. So you're listening to Doug. How many people have talked to Doug?
Sati.
So Doug is talking. Okay, let's go to here.
According to Brandon.
Listen carefully.
Brandon's path to financial independence began in 2011 when he discovered the early.
So this sounds like Doug, right? You would think this is Doug.
As a naturally frugal person who enjoyed financial.
So that is not actually Doug talking. Doug took a podcast editing tool called Descript and trained it to mimic his voice. And then he used ChatGPT to create an outline. So that is an AI bot reading a script generated by AI. I got that right, Doug, right? Okay, cool. And I think it's indistinguishable. You sound kind of robotic, so it's probably a natural fit.
As fast as possible. This gave it.
Okay, now let's see if we can get this back to what it's supposed to be doing. Great. So what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence are computer systems that perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. I think Doug and I set a pretty low bar. We're not geniuses, so it's pretty easy for the AI to mimic you and me at some point. Let's talk about some other examples of AI. I'm from the Midwest, and I've got a bunch of farmers in my family. I was talking to one of them a couple of years ago, and I'm like, what's it like being a farmer? What do you do? Do you drive the tractor? And he's like, no, actually, we have this new tractor, and the thing drives itself. I never have to drive the tractor. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. Then a couple of years later, I'm talking to the same person, and he's like, yeah, we're getting this thing. I'm like, what the heck is that? He's like, it's got an array of cameras on the back. Each one takes 20 frames per second. It uses AI to identify weeds and selectively kills the weeds. So I use a lot less pesticide and I kill a lot less of my crops. Like, who would have thought, of all people, farmers are on the forefront of AI? And again, he's using these tools so they get more output for less effort, and the farmer gets even richer. Here are some other examples of AI in modern life. Does anyone know what this is, or has anyone seen it besides Pete? What is it, Brandon?
It's a self-driving car.
Yeah, this is a self-driving robotaxi. So there is no human in there. The thing completely drives itself. And I was down in Arizona visiting Pete, and these things are all over the place, right? And it did not kill you either, right? It was pretty good.
It's fun.
Yeah, and I think these are in San Francisco now, and they're going to LA and Austin. This next one cracks me up. So someone figured out how to do a self-driving truck, and guess what they did with it, because this is Colorado. World's first beer delivery by self-driving trucks made in Colorado. We have a self-driving truck and we deliver beer with it. Here I am at Target. The computer's trying to make sure I'm not stealing anything, and I'm taking a picture of it. The computer is probably very confused. I'll probably earn a lifetime ban from Target if I continue doing things like this. The common themes with all these examples, the tractor, the car, they're all taking humans out of the equation to save money. What are the 4 scariest words in capitalism or economies? Does anyone know what I'm talking about here? The 4 scariest words in like investing or capitalism or economics. That's it. Who said that? Kevin. I'll give you do you want a beer now? Okay. If you do, they're right there. Okay.
Deliver it.
This time it's different. So I'm here to tell you that this time I do believe it's different, because AI has the capability, if you give it long enough, to take away a lot of jobs. It's not like the steam engine, which maybe took away horse transportation, or the self-driving tractor, which diminished the amount of farmers. AI, if you give it long enough, has the potential to replace almost any job. And if you think your job is physical, there are people working on AI to take care of that job as well. Here's an example I saw this morning. Supposedly Amazon warehouses are filled with robots that do a lot of work, replacing a lot of laborers. This talk is mostly PG, but this next slide is a little sketchy. I feel a little self-conscious. Do you want to? Yeah, I think he's really enjoyed it so far. Okay, it's not that bad. Are there kids here? Okay. So AI doesn't have to go to the bathroom. It doesn't threaten to form a labor union. It doesn't go on strike asking for better electricity. And this last one happened at not 1 but 2 of my jobs. It does not have relationships with other AI. So the big boss, not yet. Yeah, maybe those boss will get it. Not. So big bosses and corporations love AI because they don't have to deal with people, which are painful, most of them. And if you don't believe me, Goldman Sachs says 300 million full-time jobs in the USA and Europe will be gone. I didn't even know there were 300 working people in both those areas. But University of Pennsylvania says 80,000 white-collar jobs, or $80,000 white-collar jobs are most likely to be affected by workforce automation. So why am I telling you all about economics and AI? How does this relate to you? What did I tell you moments ago was the biggest increaser of the stock market? Why does it go up and to the right? Yes, you guys, productivity gains. You all have been paying attention. Thank you so much. I thought you all would be doing this, but thank you for listening. So I'm here to tell you, here's the big slide. AI is the ultimate increaser of productivity gains. AI can work smarter, harder, and cheaper than humans. McKinsey states that AI is it'll add $13 trillion of economic activity to the GDP. And that's only by 2030. We're in the first inning of all this. So this is crazy. I think this could be our future. This is what I'm hoping for, at least. Yeah. And good quote, because Farmer Mindy took her AI tractor and grew like tons of corn with your weed sprayer, and she just killed it. She took all her money and put it in VTSAX. So, yeah.
I am never letting you.
But the good news, this doesn't only apply to Farmer Mindy. All of us are, like, how many of us are in index funds or some kind of stock? Probably most of us, right? I don't know. Is anyone not? Like, real estate's good too. Maybe the bots need to live somewhere. So all of us are going to become rich along with Mindy too. What could possibly go wrong with this scenario, with these scenarios I've told you about? I just told you how all these jobs are going away. This is wonderful news for people who have $1 million in VTSAX and are set because the corporations are going to make money. But what do you do for a kid coming out of college or those crazy people who just don't believe in the FI message? I don't know what's wrong with those people, but anyway, they're the ones who are going to feel the pain from this. How does society deal with the jobs going away? And there are ways to deal with this. Maybe some of you have heard about universal basic income, and there's some other ideas. It is beyond the scope of this talk, but I don't know how y'all feel, and I'm not going to get political here, but I'm deeply skeptical that the current leaders of our country have the fortitude and intelligence to deal with what's coming. Yeah. Okay, enough of that. And one reason is I hear them throwing out this terrible, scary word all the time, and that word is protectionism. And that is when people say, okay, I know this industry is going away, but we should throw money at it to prop up this job, to save jobs. And that is a horrible idea economically. It is a waste of money. It discourages competition, innovation, and specialization. And countries who do this and businesses who do this will fall behind and go by the wayside. It is inevitable. So the proper thing to do is find ways to, instead of resisting AI and these changes, to embrace them and find ways to live with them. The other, what else do people worry about with AI? What's the big one? It is this, that AI runs amok and kills all this. When we looked up when this movie came out, it was
July 3rd, 1991.
okay, so that was a long time ago. Yeah, it was great, right? James Cameron, and the sequel too. Hey, we're not going to go there. So a lot of people think this would happen if AI did actually rise up and kill us all. It probably wouldn't be malevolent robots with guns. It would probably be they would go out of control and consume our resources, and then we would either starve or suffocate, which almost sounds like a worse scenario than that. But I was looking at this picture in my slide, and I zoomed in on his teeth. They don't have good dental hygiene. If the AI bots rise up, I think we could probably conquer them with gingivitis. Okay. No, bot, you cannot go to the dentist. Okay, so to summarize the 3 main points I made is AI is probably coming for your job. A lot of people should be maybe a little bit concerned about this. But if you're on top of the food chain, if you run the corporation, if you are the corporation, you probably have less to worry about, and it could be really good for you because you're going to leverage these things to make your company bigger and make more money. And if you're an early retiree, you're probably going to do pretty well as well because you are invested in all these businesses that are going crazy. Pete and I were talking before this a little bit, and we can talk about this afterwards if you want to. Some of the companies that are leveraging this, like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google. Well, we could talk about that in a moment. One last story I want to leave you with, which is kind of fun if any of you are still awake. Does everyone know what this thing is? Okay. Yeah. The cool thing is the story behind this. How many people know this? Okay, so Keith apparently knows it. Black Monday was October 19th, 1987. The Dow Jones crashed by 22%, and there was a big global recession after that. There was this insane artist named Arturo, who speaks Italian, Arturo Demotica, and he saw what was happening, and he wanted to give the people of the world hope without the permission of New York City. So what he decides to do is create this thing in his basement or whatever his studio is. It weighs 7,100 pounds. It is 11 feet tall and 16 feet wide, or 16 feet long. The next thing he did is go to where he wanted to put it and see what the police presence there was. It turns out the cops had a patrol where they would go around every 20 minutes. So what he did is he got a crane, a flatbed, and 40 of his friends, stuck that thing on the back of the flatbed in the middle of the night, waited till, I don't know what time the police came around, like 2 a.m., went there at 2:01, dropped that thing off, and got the hell out of there. Can you imagine being the cop on patrol? You come around the corner, and that wasn't there 20 minutes ago. And then all of a sudden that thing is there. But I've always loved the book because what it stands for hope and optimism. And I think I've been a pessimist most of my life, and I've learned that doesn't serve me well. What's the old Mark Twain quote? I've worried about a great many things in life, none of which have ever come true. And that's how I am too. Like, why did I spend my time worrying about all that nonsense? So the last thing I'll say to you is be bullish and optimistic. Life is going to be good. And oh, by the way, like I always try to get a picture of this thing, and there's always 5 million people around it. They're like touching its naughty bits and all that. So I think we had to wake up like at 5 a.m. Like this is my own photo, and I think I had to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to get this. So, but what was that? I did not ride it. It's too tall. I think they discourage that.
12 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day. Just go there at 5 a.m. and expect nobody to be there.
And there were still people there. We had to like shoo them away. Like, can I just get a picture? Yeah. Okay. The end. Thank you very much.